Supernatural Season 13, Episode 14, Good Intentions. So, this episode, we finally get to see what's going on with Jack and Mary. It was actually pretty awesome. We got to see a ton of what they were doing. They weren't locked up the whole time, so I'll be honest, that was my favorite part about the whole episode because I was like, even when we see them, I figured it was going to be them talking, kind of back and forth and being like, this is what happened. I thought it would kind of be like, here's a little bit of recap, and that would mostly be what their storyline was. But they got out pretty early. It was like they were trying to trick Jack into using his powers, and then they put him in with Mary, which admittedly I thought was a trick too after a while, because I was like, she was like, the only place where I don't have a headache is right here. I was like, that seems insanely suspicious, but it ended up being real. So they actually end up breaking out. We get to see, of course, Jim Beaver come back, so we get to see the alternate version of Bobby, so that was pretty awesome. And they end up going to kind of the last human camp, at least that the characters know of. And so they're there, and it's like, this is what happened with our version of Mary, and she didn't make the demon deal. So, of course, we never got Sam and Dean because, their father was actually, never brought back to life. He died. I think he was, when all that stuff happened, it was like when he was like a teenager. So he dies, and then she kind of just never recovered from that. Course, never had Sam and Dean, so everything just legitimately kind of went to hell. So I was like, all right, that's kind of cool. That's why everything went so crazy. And they reference Sam and Dean not having existed, and that was why. But we find out that it was specifically because that demon deal was never made with the Zazel. So I was like, all right, that's definitely pretty awesome. I like the way that they did that, and that shows that that's, even though that was the tough choice, that was oddly enough the better choice, not just for the world, but even for the family, because she got to have kids. She got to have that even for a little bit. And obviously, she's back to life now. But I thought that was cool. I was like, all right, I like that storyline. And of course, they kind of go through the process. And then when Bobby is like, what is this kid? Like, he's a witch or whatever. It's like, he's a Nephilim. So, part angel. And it's like, all right, well, you guys got to go because the angels suck. And we thought that they were going to help. And the angels did what the angels have done in the actual series, which was just be douchebags. It was like, hey, angels, demons, hey, we humans want to live, you angels want to, win too, so let's team up and fight the demons. And naturally the angels were just like, yeah, just like you said, one by one they betrayed all the humans. So it's like, well, that blows. So then they get attacked by the angels in the next day, and it was pretty cool. We got to see like just an insane bit of defense from Jack, where it's like, all right, well, gonna get this guy. I forgot who it was, and he gets him, has him in the air, and I was like, so is he gonna destroy him? Is he just gonna like mess him up a little? And then he just like boom, and he just went poof, and he was gone. And then they're coming in like comets, which I still think is actually a really cool concept. Like that's how they actually land, is they come in like comets, and he just blows them all up in the air. And I was like, well, that was pretty awesome. He used his powers, he destroyed the angels that were coming to attack the camp, and it's like, all right, well, you're cool. Bobby's like, I guess all we can do really is say thanks. So I thought that was pretty awesome. Like I said, I love that storyline. I think we were pretty much all waiting to see what they were gonna do with that, and I loved it because, like I said, I was really expecting it to just be, this is what happens. Like they're just kind of locked up, and it'll be, I thought it would be a much smaller portion of the episode. And it was actually pretty big. It was basically half the episode, and I love that. I was like, all right, we get to see Bobby come back. They actually get out. They have a cool action sequence. We get to get a little bit of extra story from the alternate version of Mary's life. So they did a lot of cool stuff with that. And then it ends on basically Jack saying like, well, the only way to stop any of this madness is to kill Michael. So I don't know if that means, and I'm still curious. There's so many ways that this season can go, because they got the Lucifer stuff. Of course, they have Michael. They have Asmodeus and whatever he's doing with like the weird demons from the beginning of the season. So it's like they got like 3 different villains to choose from, and they could still save somebody for next season, because it's like they could have, Michael actually make it to the other dimension. Who knows what they're gonna do with the Rowena stuff, with her having like this ultimate power now. So that could be her helping to fight against Lucifer, but at the same time, everybody else, like we just don't know. Like there's a lot of different paths this season can take. So I'm excited to see how that plays out. If they decide to basically stay in the alternate dimension, wipe out Michael, and pretty much try to take out like all the other angels and demons as well, and then they finally get back to the other dimension. But I feel like somebody's got to jump. I feel like they're gonna bring Michael over, or maybe a new demon, because we saw the Tempter demons in the last season. They haven't shown up this season yet. It's been like all angel stuff on the other side there. But I feel like somebody's got to jump. Like they already did it with Lucifer, but it was like he kind of belongs there. It just makes sense to bring a new villain from the alternate dimension into the regular dimension. So I feel like that's almost guaranteed like they'll try to stop Michael, but he'll still make a jump, and that might be towards the end of the season, and that's how they kick off the next season, where the whole season he's jumping back and forth even. So like I said, a lot of different paths they can take. Osmodeus and everything going on there. So who really knows exactly where things are headed? I'm just super curious because I'm like, I don't think they're gonna kill off Lucifer. Well, they're not gonna kill Lucifer, but Lucifer, Osmodeus, and Michael. You got like three full villains, and we're in the second half of the season, and it's like, yeah, they just got a lot of issues to deal with, and basically the main story really isn't even to beat one of the villains; it's actually to rescue two of the heroes. So I kind of like that idea because it's like they're going towards helping rather than defeating, and I just think that's a cool concept considering the series. It's always set villain, kill the villain by the end, or try to kill him and figure out what's gonna happen. And I kind of like what they're doing with this season, where their main, Sam and Dean and Cass's main focus is just to get Mary and Jack. Like that's their main thing. Is like, well, let's do this, try to save them, and if we just so happen to kill Michael, sure, and then we can deal with Lucifer, and then we can deal with Osmodeus as well. But like, the main goal, basically, is the main plot line is to save, their mom and save Jack. So I think that's really cool. Like that's kind of the main focus, but it's just like who the f knows what's gonna happen next. But I really like that idea where it's like a lot of different ways it could go. So I think that's cool. I think that's fun. The other storyline with Sam, Dean, and Cass, that was definitely interesting. Kind of sad. It sucks that at the end, they reference, Donatello is basically brain dead, and I was like, oh, that really blows because I like Donatello. He, pops in every once in a while. He was, their prophet, and they had it where Asmodeus controlled him and stuff, and it was like, okay, so he's gonna be, lying to them, telling them that I totally thought I had that on silent. Lying to them, telling them like, oh, this is, how this is gonna end up playing out and stuff like that. And so of course he's lying to them and he's being tricked. And I was kind of hoping that there was a part of him where it was like he's trying to make a new spell to break what Asmodeus did to him. That's what I was kind of hoping. And then the stuff of him going crazy, I thought that was him trying to break through as well, where he was like kind of losing it, but that was him trying to break through what Asmodeus did. And it turns out that was just him basically being corrupted by the tablet because he didn't have a soul. And I was like, that's a sad but really cool concept. I was like, that's actually a really cool idea, that the power and the knowledge within the tablet corrupted him because he didn't have a soul. Like typically the soul was, like Cass says, was that counterbalance to the corruption, but he didn't have that, and so he's totally evil. Like he was controlled, but that would have happened anyway. And it's just very interesting because it's like he lied to them because of the Asmodeus stuff, but he would have lost it anyway. Like that was like, and that's kind of the weird thing about it. Is like that's not necessarily the Asmodeus stuff. That's just natural. That would have happened because he had no soul. And it's like, well, that's crazy. And then with him being taken over, or maybe it was the corruption. Like it was kind of hard to tell by the end if it was Asmodeus's control that kept him from telling them the truth, or if it was the corruption just making him crazy. It was like it could be both, but we don't technically know. By the time it gets to the end, it's like, well, whether he's controlled or not, he's corrupted, and that's pretty much where it's at. There's nothing that they could do. So Cass ends up stealing the formula from his mind, and he kind of destroys him mentally. So it's just like, that's, it was kind of sad, and they didn't focus too much on it, but it was definitely interesting. I was like, wow, it's kind of a somber ending. Like it's supernatural. Typically, when people are gonna get really messed up, and it's like, oh well, they'll find out, some cure or whatever, and everything will be fine. And this was not one of those times. It was like he was mind controlled, and then we find out the corruption thing because of a lack of soul, and then Cass is like, there's nothing we can do. Like that's it. And so he gets what he needs to get, which is interesting because he talked about, I'm not gonna let anyone hurt the people that I love ever again. That sort of human element of Cass. So that's always interesting when he really gets to those points. And this was definitely, without a doubt, clearly one of those points where he stole the formula from Donatello's mind. But definitely an interesting storyline there. And who knows if they're going to do another prophet, or if maybe they'll figure something out and actually be able to save him. I don't know what they could possibly do, because they even say, like, it's one thing when Sam lost his soul and it's like, oh, well, yeah, we just got Death to go ahead and grab it. Can't really grab it. Amara ate it, and her and Chuck just, peace, we're out of here. So that's gone. There's nothing there. Like, I thought they were gonna reference like splitting off his soul and kind of trying to help him out that way, but didn't really go that route. So for now, Donatello is out, which admittedly, once again, kind of does bring in the idea of alternate Kevin Tran kind of coming over, and it's like, well, now we have another prophet again, if they decide to go that route. Which, Donatello showed every once in a while do the same thing with the new version of Kevin. So we'll see how that plays out. But it was something that I thought of. Where I was like, they kind of got rid of him. He's brain dead. There's nothing he can do. We've seen alternate Kevin Tran, and obviously he would prefer to be with heroes rather than angels that just abuse him and try to force him to open up a portal all the time. So I don't know. They might be teasing that. It could just be me hoping to see Asterix Chow kind of come back more often. But yeah, it was just like, they could be a totally new actor. But we've seen Kevin Tran show up in this season, so maybe we'll see him come back as a recurring character again going forward. But all in all, I thought this was a really fun episode. Like I said, love getting to see finally what was going on with Mary and Jack and them actually escaping. Way more than I thought we'd actually get out of the first part of their storyline finally showing up. So I was super happy with that. And all in all, it was a good episode. The stuff with Dean and Cass where they fight the two brothers and they're like, well, which one do we kill? It's like, I'll kill the pretty one. It's like, well, they're both equally pretty. Like, that was just really funny to me. But I thought that was a cool little action sequence there. But really enjoyed the episode, of course. Would love to know what you guys thought about it. So please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts. And with everything that they're doing with the Mary and Jack storyline, with them possibly waging a full-on battle against the Angels, I would love to know your predictions on how that's going to end up playing out. Like, are they going to actually kill Michael? Are they going to open up that portal? Maybe they'll even end up somehow tricking Jack into opening up the portal. But I would love to know your predictions on how that storyline is going to end up playing out and how you guys want to see it play out as well. Like, what you hope to see, what you think we'll actually end up seeing. And like I said, definitely want to know what you guys thought about this episode in general. So please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.